I think somebody needs to do a wellness check on Pierre Poilievre.
If it wasn't clear there was a conservative civil war, there definitely is now. As a reminder, Pierre Poilievre recently said this, which I think is a very minor comment, actually.
Thank you very much, Calgary. It's great to be home.
Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre's Stampede speech started off with a routine shout out to special guests, including the new leader of the BC Conservatives.
The future Premier of British Columbia, Carolyn Finlay.
But then he seemed to take aim at her opponent.
Fresh off a big win against Liberal lobbyists from out east.
That suggestion sparked a backlash.
That's it. There has been so much backlash, as I'll show from that comment. The Liberal lobbyists out east, whatever, man. One comment, get over it.
Amongst some Conservatives online.
Hi, Pierre. Caroline Elliott here.
The runner-up in that BC race interpreted Poilievre's comments as a swipe against her and hit back.
I don't
know.
The race
is over.
I don't think it was a swipe against her. I think it was a swipe, as you'll see in the next clip, against this guy. Now, watch what he has to say very recently about Poilievre. Okay, rant incoming from this guy. This is Kory Teneycke. He's the person that's worked with Doug Ford in Ontario. Plus, he was helping out Caroline Elliott there, the person that came in second place in the recent BC Conservative leadership race. This is actually unhinged. He totally unloads here on Poilievre.
I think somebody needs to do a wellness check on Pierre Poilievre. I think he's showing some signs of some sort of rupture from reality or mental breakdown. I don't know. It makes no sense to me, for all the reasons that...
For saying Liberal lobbyists from out east, there has been almost now a week-long media storm against those comments. Look, I'm not the biggest Poilievre fan, to be totally honest. I don't think he's nearly bold enough. Maybe I'm charitably halfway there on Poilievre. I like his comments on the economy for the most part, on crime, certainly. On some other stuff, kind of. I think he's way too afraid of cultural issues, but man, I don't think Poilievre deserves all the smoke he's getting right now for those comments.
That Brian laid out, to be going around the country picking fights with conservatives. The best I can come up with is a rationale, although I don't live in his head, although maybe I do, but not.
I think you do,
rent
free, actually.
Not willingly. If you can't beat Carney, if your polling numbers suck as badly as his do, if your leadership numbers suck as badly as his do, if your best prime minister number pales in comparison to Carney's to the level that it does, then you try to reframe the question into something that allows you to continue to get your, continue to be the leader of the opposition. That comes with, a chauffeur and a 19-bedroom mansion and, a house staff and all of that. Because at the end of the day, you got to bear in mind that, I wouldn't go so far as to say that Poilievre is...
The part of that I agree with is Poilievre has to do something. I've been saying similar things. These polls, he's consistently behind. He has to do something to reframe the question. It's just the problem is guys like this want him to be more moderate. You already have a moderate person in Canada, and he's named Mark Carney. I do not understand, and I will never understand, and there's a lot of people I see online that seem to want the Conservatives to go moderate. Where are you going to go? Mark Carney's here. Poilievre is here. Maybe I have this backwards, but whatever. You know what I mean? Poilievre's not that far right. Carney for Canada, I don't think is that far left. He's certainly governing more like a centrist. Maybe some of his true opinions he's kind of shielding away, like on some of the climate change stuff. Although, in my opinion, he's still very left on climate change. But if you compare him to Trudeau, he's definitely moved to the center. That's not a very good bar, but I don't know. Carney, at least... the idea of Carney in Canada is that he's a centrist. I think that's fair. I think the average person in Canada views Mark Carney as a centrist. I think he's done, to his credit, a good job of kind of carving that area out, his sort of nonchalant attitude. The media is way too nice to Carney. It's actually ridiculous. The media is more intense about trying to dump on Pierre Poilievre, which is incredible. He's not even the leader. But anyway, I'm kind of on a rant here. But what are you going to do if you're Poilievre and the CPC by going more to the center? There's going to be no daylight between you and Carney pretty soon. There isn't. How are you going to differentiate if you're like a red Tory? Say you're Doug Ford, like this guy was the campaign manager of Doug Ford. Say Doug Ford becomes the leader of the federal Conservative Party. What are him and Carney going to debate about? I posted that onto my X. They're going to be in debates basically being like, I agree, that's a great point. I agree with you, that's a great point. Yes, I agree, it's all Donald Trump's fault. Oh my gosh. Oh, I stood up to Trump even more than you did. They're going to agree with each other on everything. I don't know, let me know in the comments. What do Doug Ford and Mark Carney disagree with one another on? Like, Doug Ford is not this conservative icon guy. He definitely seems like a big government type of person. So what the heck are we doing?
Completely unemployable. He could work at McDonald's or Tim Hortons or all kinds of places, but he is impossible to employ in an equivalent type position with the level of stature and prestige and compensation, both monetary and non-monetary, that he has currently. And I think his entire ego and self-image is wrapped up and frozen in time in 2024, where it looked like he was going to be prime minister. Now that it is very clear to everyone in the world, except perhaps him and a handful of trolls online, that ain't ever going to happen. He's trying to recast the decision from, who do you want to have be prime minister to who should be the leader of the opposition. And it shouldn't be, some Doug Ford conservative or some Tim Houston conservative or some, whatever, fill in the blank, to recast what the test is. And if the test isn't, can you become prime minister?
I don't know what he's talking about recasting the test. The part of this I agree with, and I wouldn't say it the way he is. Poilievre and the CPC, you have to do something. They do things that I like, at least as a voter, that I would just consider myself right-wing. That's how I would classify myself. Not far-right, not center-right, just right-wing. Once in a while, they'll do good things. I think Jamil Jivani, letting him speak more is a plus. Jamil Jivani criticizing the pride parades, I think that's just low-hanging fruit. A lot of the degenerate crap that happens at pride parades, you should point that out if you're the Conservative Party. The average person doesn't want to see, even if you're pro-pride parades, the average person is not going to be cool with naked people walking around in broad daylight. I'm sorry, they're not. I know a lot of people are very Looney Tunes, and they actually would be fine with that, which is ridiculous. I don't know how much is that their actual point of view and how much is just a virtue signal because they want to always be pro-LGBT, but letting Jivani speak, it's just the problem is Poilievre and Jivani and a lot of the CPC, they only are good in little spurts, and it seems like they kind of go back into hiding. They let the liberals and they let people like these people, honestly, on screen dictate the conversation, dictate the Overton window. The Conservatives in Canada just keep losing. You're losing almost in every dimension. 4 elections in a row, losing. I would say the culture war, the Conservatives maybe lately are getting a little bit of the wins, but the thing is, Carney is just stealing a lot of the wins away from Poilievre. By being a little bit more moderate, Carney's kind of taking some of the culture wins away from Pierre and the CPC, and I think the problem is they're just not vocal enough. They should be so annoying. Pierre Poilievre, even to people that like him, should be in the media and doing interviews and doing tweets so often that you're like, dude, enough already. Can you just chill? That's what it should be like. It's not like that. It's the opposite. Poilievre, I don't know, once a week, once every 2 weeks, will appear in the media. That's not good enough.
And what the fuck are you doing as leader of the Conservative Party? Because that is, I think, for me and most conservatives, the actual important thing. Can you actually win an election? Can you unite enough conservatives to actually prosecute a campaign effectively? And I think increasingly the answer to that is no.
Yeah, so can you win an election? I agree, it should be about winning. I don't think this strategy of what he said, the Tim Houston, Doug Ford, I believe he said, that type of conservative. Like, if that type of person takes over the leadership of the CPC, I'm not going to vote conservative. That's just, unless they're so brilliant and they change my mind. But I want a real conservative that is on economic issues, on cultural issues, on social issues, is just conservative. I truly don't even want somebody far right, but I want someone that's conservative and not afraid of that. Personally, my favorite politician right now in Canada, by a long shot too, by the way, is Jamil Jivani. I think Jivani is ideologically similar to me. I don't think he's far right. Certainly not. From what I've seen, I think he's just kind of a garden variety conservative. But the thing that where he stands out is he just believes in what he says. He'll say, this is what I think, and he's not afraid. Like his comments on the Pride Parade stuff, I think those are just very basic conservative points, but he's not afraid to say them. So anyway, with that said, I'll finish the video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Like and subscribe. Have a great day.